Dear reader, welcome back. It's hard to believe a month has passed since the last issue, but as spring officially kicks into gear, it's time to kickstart the engine and get back into the flow of things. Catching up to speed. In the last issue, I wrote that I'd be utilizing my month away from the weekly Sunday releases to work on software that would power the audiovisual arm of the newsletter. My goal was to create software that would automate the creation of engaging and novel audiovisuals without sacrificing the core value add of the text newsletter. I'm happy to say that I was mostly successful in this endeavor. Quo-Host in the philosophy of software that solves a problem. The result of this month's work is Quo-Host, a collection of programs that create engaging YouTube videos from the source material of book highlights and a raw audio transcription. Building software like Quo-Host is interesting because it needs to be many things at once. It is software that attempts to solve a multi-level problem while at the same minimizing the externalized costs it imposes on the larger system as a whole, from dev to end user. After a few weeks of grinding, I was able to get out a release of Quo-Host that I'm happy with. In this context, release means that I can use the software as an end user instead of as an active developer. In other words, to move from the program to the executable file. More importantly, I was able to integrate a lot of technologies and philosophies I'd been mentally toying with for many months, but didn't have the time to build out, which I will be discussing the implications of later in this issue. This included coming to terms with how I want to spend my hours and relying on technology to improve the value and accessibility of my work without taking away the parts I consider idiosyncratic and fun. In the catching up to speed section, I said the build was mostly successful, so allow me to briefly elaborate on that. I think the resulting videos from Quo-Host as a viewer fall somewhere on the spectrum of being more engaging than a video of B-roll, but less engaging than a professionally edited video by far. Going forward, I'd like to improve the quality of the experience enough to make it something that people look forward to watching, even if they don't read the newsletter. In the earliest ideation phase, Quo-Host was merely concept art in a field notes journal. An impassable architectural challenge I faced was how to make the computation feel real-time, even though the audio it is processing against will have long passed by the time the computation pipeline finishes. In essence, I needed some sort of mind-reading capability. I don't know if there's a Python package for that just yet. The plan for year 2 of the newsletter. As we head back into our weekly cadence, I'd like to introduce the plan for the content of the newsletter in year 2. Last year, I was driven mainly by curiosity, tackling any random topic that piqued my interest, and that I thought could create an engaging, short essay that I could reliably get out within a week. Broadly speaking, though, the themes I wrote about were books and technology, as well as the occasional social critique. By the end of the year, I began exploring series-type newsletters, multi-week deep dives into a single topic. I liked these series posts because I could logically split the work into digestible weekly chunks for the reader, while also being ambitious with callbacks, ideas, and build towards larger philosophies over a period of time. This year, I want to take the concept of series farther. But on what? As you likely know by now, I've long been in search of the holy grail synthesis of books and computers. I'm fascinated by the ideas and executions of combining one of civilization's oldest surviving technologies. Books are roughly 5,500 years old. With one of civilization's youngest technologies. Digital computers are roughly 80 years old. Books and computers, specifically software development, have both had immeasurable impact on my life, and I see both as integral ingredients of the person I am today and the person I desire to be in the future. In addition, I think books and a deeper understanding of computing are integral to the optimal functioning of our species, as the new immense challenges we face require more and more nuance, wisdom, and judgment. Thanks to the recent advent of LLMs, I think we are in the beginning of a golden era of commonplace books and computation at the individual level. My anecdotal experiences building and using commonplace bot have sufficiently proven this to me. I've even coined a term for the field I'll be expounding upon in depth over the next couple of months. Personal library science. Personal library science is a portmanteau of personal computing and library science and asks a simple but very deep question. How can we use computing to organize and augment the reading and writing of books at the individual human level? We'll be spending a lot of time with this topic going forward, as I feel it is time to consider it seriously as both a field of study and as a suite of software tools and capabilities. Next week, the newsletter will be back with the first issue of Year 2, with a deep dive into the argument for personal library science. Again, welcome back, and I'll see you all next Sunday.